Hey, welcome to the Humble Roses podcast. And I just botched my own intro right out the gate. That's how Dallas Cash works. Botching his intro. I'm your host, Dallas Cash, and welcome to the Humble Roses podcast. If you are just now joining us, I am lifting up because I want everybody to see my little Bankai sword from Bleach. That's that's Ichigo's Bankai sword right there. If you are watching the Humble Roses podcast, welcome to the Humble Roses podcast. Last night was a very eventful night, and I want to take this moment to thank Killer Cross and Scarlet Bordeaux for making a surprise appearance on the Humble Roses podcast. But let's talk about who we have on the show. We have a all-star lineup tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my co-hosts here. First, hailing from Orlando, Florida, weighing in. Now, a woman never gives her weight, so I don't even know why I just did that. But I will say that her problems are as long as her hair is. That would definitely be Angel.
Hey guys! And what do you mean my problems are as long as my hair? I have no problems, thankfully.
You got a lot of problems. You don't really have problems. You just like to cause problems.
There you go. That's better. There you go.
And then we got from up there in Cleveland, about 25 minutes from me. Always on the route, never down and out. Kev, the postman.
What up?
Hey.
Oh man, I cut Angel's face off. Okay, that's just nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. When our beloved guest gets here, he will balance it out. So
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is kind of...
We got this. We got this.
So let's talk about our guests. So this podcast really is growing because of the extension that we made and the bond that we made with a website called PodStarz.net. You see me promoting it at the end of the Santino Marella interview. You seen me promoting it every single time that I used it. We used it when we booked Mosh on the show, and Mosh ended up joining Culture Clash Network, which is crazy because we didn't expect that, but that was only possible because of one person, a CEO, a founder, a loving Canadian gentleman. And you talk about a guy who has a podcast background. Out there in Ontario, there are a lot of different people that you run into. You run into different princes, you run into different queens, and then you run into a king. You run into a king who has made his game making chess moves across the board. And because of that, he created a website for podcast guests to show up on podcasts like these, the Humble Roses podcast and Marks with Mikes, other podcasts on Culture Clash Network and not even affiliated with Culture Clash Network, just for people like you who want to have podcast guests on your show at an affordable price. This gentleman came out as an individual who sees a vision, and part of his vision is understanding where he needs to go in life, directing himself towards the beacon of success. We have a loving brother, loving husband, loving father, a man who in 1999 decided he wanted to bet on himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest honor to introduce the CEO and founder of PodStarz.net. We have Mr. J. Cowal.
What's going on? Nice to be here. Thanks for that amazing intro, man. I've never had a 7-minute introduction before, man. You did a lot of spots there, man. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
Hey,
he loves to give people his roses, so
that's kind of what we do here at the Humble Roses podcast. We like to make our guests feel at home, and part of that is making you feel at home. So we're gonna make
accomplished. All right.
Yeah, like that. When doing a podcast, you got to make sure you got to introduce your guests like it's they're the champion at a wrestling event. Like, this is what we have to do. So let's get started. First off, welcome to the Humble Roses podcast. This is not going to be a normal podcast. There are going to be some questions asked, and there are going to be some moments. So What I like to do is I like to do callbacks, and I like to leave like little references in my intro. I said that there were princes, there were queens, and there were kings.
Okay, I'll take it.
Having said that, are you still the self-proclaimed king
Ooh.
of
Hmm?
Pickopoly?
Unfortunately, no. No.
Oh,
Were
What
dethroned?
happened?
what
Sadly,
happened?
like everyone has those off days, and I had an off day, and next thing you know, I was the first one out. Made a bad trade, cost me everything, and I let down my city of Pickering, and I apologize profusely. But I mean, my whole city of Pickering is 3 intersections, basically. I think it's Chris Van Vliet hails from Pickering.
Yes.
Shout out
Whoa!
CVV. All right.
That's our biggest claim. Oh, and Sean Mendes.
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh,
Nice.
look at Shawn Mendes. Sweet.
So I'm like number 3, but I'm okay with that.
Okay, but so you're still in the bronze. You're still in the bronze tier. You just got to climb back
Yeah,
up and
I
reclaim.
could be
Yep, it's gotta
Kobe or LeBron. I'm not Jordan. I'm not gonna say I'm not Jordan. But I could be Kobe.
Like, I'm not Jordan. I'm not Jordan.
Understandable. I actually had a question that I really wanted to ask you. Please tell me, how did this happen? I remember hearing that you were once banned from an Asian mall.
Oh! You're doing the research? Okay, I see where we're going.
Yeah.
The 7-minute intro was to bring me up, and this is like
Yeah.
We're coming back to Earth.
All right.
Coming back to Earth.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're bringing you back to Earth.
I
Okay,
checked out Hostile Environment, the podcast, and there's
Yes.
an episode where you call yourself the
Oh.
human Godzilla. And this is one of the
Whoa.
shows where, hey, you say whatever you want. We don't care.
Yeah.
But I got to know this story because the fans would like to know. And you're such an open book.
Yeah.
If you got to like censor some parts out, that's completely fine.
No,
but I
you
was
know what?
eager to know.
The thing about that podcast was we can get into generally how PodStarz started. It came off of that podcast. So
Oh.
Okay.
although I had to scrub most of the episodes from the internet because of cancel culture,
Yeah.
somehow you managed to find one of the remaining episodes that apparently the internet did not get rid of. But
Ew.
that being said, I have no problem talking about my adventures at a mall that is profusely full of Asian people who tend to be on the smaller side. And me being 6 foot, at that time, probably 225-ish, I was much bigger than everyone else. So I'll give you the quick breakdown of what happened. I went to a Asian mall to unlock my cell phone because those people have that mall is known for having like bootleg running shoes, cracking open phones, all that good stuff. So I went there. I made the decision to bring my elderly grandmother with me, thinking I was just going to be in and out. My elderly grandmother also has dementia. So when we got to the mall, she was a little afraid to get out of the car, but I had already dropped off my phone. So I couldn't drive all the way back to Pickering and drop her off. So I said, Grandma, I'll be 5 minutes. She wasn't like a dog in the car situation. I had all the windows cracked. The ignition was off because I don't want her getting in the driver's seat.
Of course.
Long story short, I get to the counter and there was an altercation due to the fact that the product and the price that we agreed upon was they changed it at the last minute, and asked for more money than I actually had on me. Here I'm thinking my grandma's in the car. I got to get back out. So I grabbed the phone, and on my way out, when he tried to grab me, a bunch of TVs and CDs and stuff fell off glass counters, made a big, massive mess. So now I'm trying to get through the Asian mall to get back to my grandmother who's sitting in a car. I have several Asian people yelling at me. I don't know what they were saying, but basically I would suffice to say it was like, stop that big giant man or something along those lines. The doors from the mall open, and now I see that there's a police officer in front of my vehicle talking to my grandmother, who subsequently turns around and sees many Asian people now hoarding around me, all screaming at me while I've got my phone in. this is why I called myself Godzilla, because I could just see what the police officer was thinking when he turned around. And because my grandmother has dementia,
Oh my
when I
God.
got to the vehicle and I was like, Grandma, is everything okay? She calls me Frank because that was her husband's name. So she recognizes me as Frank.
Oh,
Well, the police
Oh.
officer who had my identification in his hands, it says Jay. So he's like, who is Frank? And I was like, it's her dead husband. She thinks I'm her husband, but I'm really her grandson. The Asian people are still screaming. The cop is trying to calm this all down at the same time. And my grandmother sitting there going, Frank, when are we leaving? I'm hungry. Frank. And police officers, it was quite a day.
Oh.
Quite a day.
oh my goodness. Oh wow.
That is
Wow.
a
Yeah.
That
story.
was
Yeah.
that is a hell of a story to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to tell your grandkids. That'd be like
Yeah,
this.
you gotta
That's definitely.
Well,
you
there's
gotta
some things I'm going to leave the internet's going to hopefully scrub and they'll never hear about it. Like,
Yeah, we'll
I don't think we're gonna try to scrub this
Yeah,
Godzilla.
we'll
Yeah,
try.
we're gonna
We'll try.
try.
before my colleagues get to their questions, I wanted to ask another question,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. So, it's the around the time that you had taken a trip to Dubai, you had surprised your now wife with a sunset marriage vow.
Yep.
And
Oh.
how did you compose that, and when did you know it was the right time to pop the question?
Oh, so we'd already been married. We got married in 05. My oldest
Okay.
daughter's 26, so I'm only 46. So I
Not bad.
I slipped one past the goalie pretty early. Me and my wife have been together, since basically 1998. So
wow.
when your kids get older, we've done a lot of family trips. My oldest is 26. My youngest is just turning 19. So we just say we said we're going to have one last family trip. We knew, because everyone goes their own ways. Everyone's growing up, hard to do. So
Hell yeah.
we wanted to do something different and bring some culture into their experiences. Anyone can go to Jamaica or Mexico and sit on a beach and go on the boat and drink for 24 hours straight or whatever. But I mean, we wanted to give them something different. So my wife works at a hospital. One of the doctors had mentioned Dubai, showed some videos. Next thing you know, we're booking it. $7,700 for 4 of us to get on that plane, by the way. Not a cheap trip.
Wow.
But you know what? As soon as we went, or as soon as we booked it, the wheels started to turn, and I wanted to do something super, super romantic. So I got in touch with I did a lot of Googling, got in touch with a lady, and because of the time changes, it wasn't easy because I'd be at work when she was going to bed and vice versa. So getting these plans set in motion, most of it was by email. And anyone who has a significant other knows that when your phone goes off and someone's like, why are you hiding your phone? Well, it doesn't look like you're talking to a marriage person in Dubai. It makes it look like you're skipping out, right? So a lot of shady bathroom tricks were going on where I'm like, don't worry. So yeah, I figured it all out.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. And the funny thing about it was everything was going super perfectly until we had to be there at 6 o'clock at night, right on the money, basically. And there was a massive accident on the freeway when we were coming back from our day trip. So we literally Ubered it from our hotel and got there at 5:59. I'm sweating buckets, knowing that what I'm about to do is either going to go really well or really badly. Thankfully, it went really, really well. But as most women would attest to, they like to be in their best shape for something like this. And there's one thing about saying we're going out for dinner, and there's another thing that's saying we're going to have a romantic wedding ceremony on a beach in the middle of Dubai. So although it did work, I did hear it later. But for that night, it was super romantic. My kids were there. It was fantastic. And it's probably the best thing that I've ever done.
Oh,
Excellent.
That's, so
That's awesome.
I'm going to pass this to my colleagues, Angel, Kev. Angel, fire off. Kev, you follow right
I
up.
got you.
So you said that there was episodes that the episodes that Cash was talking about. You said that those are the reasons that you started PodStarz. Like, what really got you into wanting to start it?
So I started my podcast called The Hostile Environment, which there's no way you'll be able to find it. No way, except for that one episode apparently. I started that podcast during the first wave of the pandemic because I was always listening to podcasts. Everyone's locked down, so I was sitting in my garage, basically trying to people watch with a podcast on, having way too many adult beverages at the weirdest times of the day, most people were doing. Well, my wife had enough, and she's like, listen, you just can't sit out here and get hammered all day and podcast. Like, you have to find something to do. So I was like, I'm going to start my own. So that's what I did. I took all these crazy stories that I grew up. I grew up with some really odd individuals, and we have some crazy stuff that we have done. And I decided to just do that. I was 16 or 18 episodes in when a rather large company reached out to me and said, hey, listen, we like what you're doing. Keep up the good work. We want to do ad reads on your show. Just give us your numbers. I didn't know how to do that. So, a lot of Googling to figure out how to even do that. And then when I presented them my numbers, they were like, listen, not good enough. Sorry, you have to get your numbers up. And I was like, okay, cool. What do I do? How do I do this? They're like, listen, get some names on your podcast, go on social media. That's how it is. People will follow you, will follow the celebrities. All right, cool. So, I'm trying to make money on my podcast, which I had no idea was even a thing. Finally found a professional wrestler. I won't say his name, but I will leave it at this. He is known for being a shady individual, which I found out later. I reached out to him. He agreed to come on my show. If I forward him, I think it was $60 US. I said, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Absolutely. The day of the podcast comes. I'm ready to go. My first interview. My man does not show up. Okay. I'm sure this happens. It's my first time having an interview on the show. Okay. Reach out to him on social media. We're DMing on Twitter. Nothing. 2 weeks of just ghost. Finally, I saw him online tweeting at somebody. So I knew what was going on. I knew he was taking the money and he was running. So I just let out this vicious tweet saying, this guy did this to me. Do not trust him. Well, immediately my DM lit up and he said, listen, please take that down. I'll come on your show. I apologize. Some excuse. We made it happen. But while this was all happening, I'm doing all this research on podcasting. I'm seeing the podcast world explode, and it's doubled that from now. So it's even crazier now. And I kept thinking, why is it this hard to find somebody to come on your show? Because other people were ignoring me, saying no, thank you. Just in general, just not interested. Well, if you really think about it, podcasting is such a great venue for the celebrity because they get to talk about their appearances, their signings, their TV appearances, their book deals, whatever. It's a promotional tool for them to be on. But I understand getting too many of these Instagram DMs, get on my show, must be too much. So all these wheels started to come together. And then I was like, you know what? I want to do what Cameo is doing for the birthday shout outs, for the wedding shout outs, except I'm going to do it for the podcast community because some of the celebrities were asking for money already when I was, 3 years ago. So I knew this is where it was going. So I just got ahead of the curve, talked to a couple of really good friends who I grew up with. And, PodStarz was born a lot more expensive and a lot longer than I would have liked it to have taken. Little did I know how difficult building a website like this, getting the talent, getting the podcasters, getting all this and letting it into the world was going to be.
I'll say this, the story that you told about the wrestler that scammed you, I'm not going to say his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I know when you told me the $60, I knew exactly who it was because he did that to one of our people on our show. And
we don't want to talk about it.
We will not talk. We'll discuss it off camera, but
EC Dub?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bald head.
That's a yeah.
Head.
That's all we need.
Bald
Right.
head. Kendo stick. Yep.
Bingo.
Same guy.
Yeah.
That's him.
So
So Jay, I just wanted to ask. So when you started up PodStarz, which celebrity was which talent was the first to sign? Who was the first contract?
Our first professional wrestler was Devon.
Okay.
He was our first professional wrestler.
Sweet. Shout out Devon.
We started off with a couple of local talents here in Toronto. I don't know if you guys get a show called Schitt's Creek she's on that. And there's another show she's on, Corner Gas. She has another show called Corner Gas.
Okay.
So her name's Tara Spencer Nairn. So she was one of our first celebrities.
Nice.
Sweet. Okay.
And so the goal here for me is to get one-on-one FaceTime with the celebrities to present them with the idea of PodStarz. If not, I'm doing the exact same thing the podcast community is doing by DMing them, and they're ignoring me. So I go to almost every Comic-Con that I can get to, whether it be driving to Philly, driving to Indianapolis, flying to Florida, going to Texas. I get right in front of these guys and I give them my business card with a small gift. I tell them exactly what we are, and then I follow up with them on social media once they understand that I'm not a grifter. I'm not trying to steal from their bank accounts by giving them a link that they're going to click on.
You're not a scammer.
Bingo. And that's what social media is. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know who's a real person. Now with AI, you don't even know if they're alive.
Especially with AI.
So we started off like that, and actually that same Comic-Con where I met Devon, I actually met Lisa Marie Varon, obviously Victoria Tara from TNA.
Shout out Victoria.
She agreed to be on the site that day when I met her, and then she helped me get Devon. But Devon was actually the first guy to sign up. But then the chips started to fall, and everyone knows in the professional wrestling community, they're very tight knit, and if they trust you, the word gets out quickly. So now we have almost 35 professional wrestlers on there, with a few more floating around who are kind of hard to nail down. But it started off with just celebrities, and then it slowly turned into a wrestling company where we have 35 professional wrestlers, and they're our most popular booked guests. So it's crazy how it started out, because like at one time, you said in 1999, I thought I was going to be a WWE superstar. Well, that failed miserably, but here I am now in 2025, 26, with all these professional wrestlers in my Rolodex.
More on that. So walk me through the tryout process of what happened in 99.
Sure. So another stupid story. So I'm with my lady, who's now my wife. We had just had our first child, so she was roughly 1 year old. I'm on, I don't even know if it was the internet, because I don't even know how it was around back then, but somehow I got turned on to, so Brian Pillman had just passed, and they were doing a Brian Pillman memorial show / fantasy camp in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm in Toronto. I didn't know Dayton, Ohio was a thing. I knew Ohio was a thing. Never heard of Dayton though. Quick way to find out. I booked my bus trip. Went by myself. Almost got robbed in Detroit. That was nice. Eventually made it to Dayton, Ohio. Stayed there for 4 days. Did the semi tryout / fantasy camp. Hugh Morris, Ricky Steamboat, Mark Henry, Terry Taylor. I'm in the ring with all these guys. Not Mark Henry. Mark Henry was just a guest, but I was in the ring with Hugh Morris, Ricky Steamboat. I have a great video of him chopping me, which still hurts. The man had a nice chop. But yeah, so it was kind of like a fantasy camp, but it was also people from WWE. Like Terry Taylor was affiliated with, I think it was OVW at that time. He was definitely in the training system. And he let out an invite where he's like, listen, you got something, you got the spirit, you got the passion, you need to be trained. If you're willing to move to Ohio, put up the rings, take out the chairs for the event, sweep the floors, clean the toilets, you can stay here. And first of all, I was like, I've been doing this for 4 days and everything hurts. Like literally everything hurts. My back, like I couldn't even get up in the morning without jumping right in the shower. It was crazy how sore I was. And I had a 1 year old. And I knew that telling my wife that, hey, I'm moving to Ohio by myself while you're here with our first baby, that wasn't going to fly. So I told Mr. Taylor that, as happy as I was that I even had the offer to be a jobber, that I had to unfortunately turn it down because I couldn't handle that. I mean, maybe over time, who knows? But I did 4 days of doing that, and all I was thinking about was laying in a hot tub for a month.
Wow. Okay. That is a interesting proposition. Angel, we were talking earlier, and what was the other thing that we wanted to touch on with PodStarz? Because there was like a couple other things that I think we wanted to. That's right. So how? Because I'm starting to notice a pattern. So it's like it's wrestlers, then it's actors, then it's voice actors, and then you're pulling from different areas, and I'm starting to see like a surplus of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
As well. So my question to you is, are there any people out there that you have not obtained for PodStarz that you would like to in the future?
Yeah.
Who's on the wish list?
Are you talking like a brand name or like a genre?
Genre.
Either or.
Okay, so the genre, we're really trying to get more musicians on the site. Musicians, for some reason, are extremely hard to nail down. And the thing about musicians is, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Vlad TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy pays these musicians a lot of money to do interviews. So now I'm, as an independent small business owner, I'm not Vlad. I don't have access to $100 million. So these musicians ask for astronomical amounts to come on the website. And I have to be brutally honest and say, look, guys, like, I want you to be on the site. I want you to be able to provide you to the podcast community, but there's no way that, you know, my clients are going to be, you know, $3,000-$4,000. And then that's kind of where things break down. So I would love to have more musicians because their stories are incredible. They've
What
seen
about
it and done it all.
What about DJs?
DJs, I mean, we've got a couple of people who are like DJ slash. So there's a few of those already on the site. The thing about DJs is, unless you're like, you know, Steve Aoki or something of those lines, like, spinning tunes is great, but you have to have something to go along with it. So when you book the people on PodStarz who are DJ slash, you can touch those bases. Whereas just a straight DJ, you can ask them a few questions, and I'm sure it'd be a great interview, but you wouldn't get the most bang for your buck, I would think. I just my opinion, but yeah, I mean, we're willing to take anybody on PodStarz who thinks that they have something to provide the podcast community. And that's the thing I try and, like, we have a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, I want to be on PodStarz. Okay, what are you? You know, I do a lot of karaoke. You know, I'm going to get a record deal. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't classify you as a celebrity because you haven't reached that tier yet. You know, if you want to come on and sign up, and it's free to sign up, and then you want to charge $1, just like Cameo has people who claim to be actors and they charge $1 for a cameo, then sure. But I mean, I have to be very cognizant of who I get on the site because I don't want to fill it with just L-list talent. You know, like, I don't have any A-list talent per se, like a John Cena or a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt. Like, those guys are, you know, pretty much unattainable. But I do my best to provide the best possible talent for the podcast community that's still affordable, because I'm trying to help the podcasters who are trying to build their shows. You know, like, there's a number out there who's, I think it's 6 episodes that a lot of podcasters throw in the towel because they don't see the downloads, they don't see the success on social media, and they're like, you know what, I quit. At the same time, why are you quitting? Because you started this with a passion. If you started a podcast on golf or pickleball or air fryers or cats, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what, 6 episodes in, I'm throwing in the towel. This was a passion project. Why would you give up on your passion? So I would like to give you a guest for your show. So if you do have a podcast about air fryers and 6 episodes in, you're like, oh man, I you know, no one's listening. Well, now we have chefs on our website who you can book, who can give you tips on how to use your air fryer in another form or fashion, or something to bring some life to your show. You don't have to book a celebrity for every single episode. You book 1 or 2 celebrities to get your audience, and then it's your job to keep that audience. And if you start to get a little stale, or maybe your material's running a little dry, hit PodStarz up. It injects some new life into your show automatically.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I didn't answer your question because you're looking for a name. My ultimate name. I'm a Tom Cruise guy, so Tom Cruise would be my guy, because I don't know if he talks about Scientology, but I would love to see him talk about Scientology. Not to mention all the crazy stunts and stuff that he does, you know, like just the Mission Impossible. The guy almost dies in every movie. Every movie's almost dying.
Hide your couches, ladies and gentlemen, because if you got a couch, you'll jump on that too.
Because quickly, all I was going to ask, since we were heading down like a fantasy wish list guest, there's a famous Canadian, and he was a former professional wrestler. Do you think, and like I said, it could be pie in the sky, you think you can get a certain hitman?
I mean, I've had opportunities to meet him. Sorry, I've been in the building to be able to meet him. Unfortunately, his lineup is insanely out the door every time. He's not a big social media guy whatsoever, so he's not easy to get a hold of. Not to mention, he's set for life many times over. I find guys like that. Another guy I'll reference is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle and I were very close to signing until he asked about the premise of PodStarz, and he told me what he wanted to be interviewed. And when I said, I mean, I just wanted to get him on the website because Kurt was one of the super nicest guys I've ever talked to in person. But again, asking for that amount of money for a podcast, I just didn't think he would get booked. And I don't want to have a guy of his caliber on my website where no one's booking him and he just feels like it's a waste of his time. So in Bret Hart's situation, I've tried to talk to him twice. I haven't even been able to get close to him because I'm not paying for these guys. I'm not getting 8x10 signed. What I'm doing is I'm sitting in the shadows. I'm waiting till every single person who has money has paid their money to the celebrity, so I'm not interfering. And then I'm casually walking over the business card and getting a 30-second conversation if I'm lucky. With Bret, his line never stopped. The Hardy Boys, their line never stops. There are certain people I can't even get close to. I would love to have Bret Hart, obviously Canadian icon, the Canadian wrestler. I mean, he really is. But I do also have a feeling that his price would be a little steep. If I saw what he asks for 8x10s and meet and greets for a podcast, it would be pretty deep.
So would you possibly be open to maybe trying to be like the third party or middleman for like wrestling companies such as WWE, AEW, or TNA? Do you think that there could be a partnership between PodStarz and one of those wrestling companies for podcasts like us who want access to active talent?
We were very close about 6 months ago to some sort of partnership. We never got into the crux of what exactly it was going to be. But because we did have certain talents on the website who made it clear to the person running that promotion that PodStarz was a thing, we started to have very small discussions on how we could partner up. Things fell apart. And once they fell apart, I tried everything I could to get it back. And let's just say that company is in a different place now than they were 6-8 months ago when we were talking. So I think my window is closed for that opportunity with that company. That being said, I would love to do something with an MLW or an NWA or someone who doesn't have the promotional machine behind them. And that way we could help each other. I could take all of their talent. We could do, anyways, long story short, I have a breakdown of what I'd like to do. And I wouldn't say the door's closed on that, but the company that we were this close to, it closed without me even getting my foot in the door, which really sucks.
Wow.
You take the L's, you take the W's, right? I mean, it is what it is.
You have to.
It's a balance. It's a balance.
It's definitely a balance. Like at this point, we're in this bubble where it's like I see the finish line. I'm starting, but I also want to figure out where I need to go to gear myself
the right path.
To the right path. And I think PodStarz is excellent because I was looking for a way to book people for the show.
Right.
And I found PodStarz because I was like, how do I book celebrity guests for my show at an affordable rate? And I'm like, it sounds impossible. And I reached out to Victoria, and whoever was managing her email told me to book her through PodStarz. And I was like, what the hell is PodStarz? Never heard of it. Went on there and I'm like, where has this been? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? So my question is to follow up because I want Angel and Kev to get some more questions in. I feel like I'm asking too many questions.
You're good.
You're good.
What do you think is the toughest decision you've had to make with PodStarz?
Wow. Okay. Let's see. I mean, obviously the toughest decision right off the bat was just to do this. Being a guy who, at my age, going back 3 years, so I was like 44. I wasn't really good with social media. I mean, I barely used Twitter. I didn't really have Facebook or anything like that. So I didn't really understand how it worked. So when I decided to try and put this into motion, I had to find people who were familiar with different areas. So I have two co-owners, Jim and Derek. and we all took different turns at doing different things. Jim is a social media guy. Jim does our graphics. Jim does our videos, our tweets, our hashtags, all that good stuff. Because I'm terrified of Instagram and TikTok. I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm too old for this stuff. So he's good with all this. So he took that and ran with it. My buddy Derek, he was an entrepreneur before PodStarz, and he dealt with a lot of clients. So I figured the best route for him would be to talk to the agents and the celebrities. He was the one who really got the majority of our first celebrities, not from Comic-Con, on the website. So he's the director of talent. And I did the day-to-days, the banking, the PayPal, which, by the way, being in Canada, the only way to pay anybody is via PayPal, because we don't have access to Venmo or Cash App or Zelle. So it's been really, really hard to get people money who refuse to use PayPal. I lost a lot of celebrities who refused to use PayPal, and I was like, that's the only way I can give you money unless you give me your bank account numbers and I wire you the money. Well, as soon as you say, give me your bank account numbers, those conversations end so quick. So thankfully, we took on a fourth partner who bought into PodStarz, who is based out of Miami, and got us set up with a Chase bank account. So now we have Venmo and Zelle. So I want to say baby steps, but when you can go from being just a Canadian trying to find a way to courier pigeon somebody money, and then all of a sudden, boom, now you're US based. Now you can actually start paying someone like a professional. That was a huge step. So the hardest thing about PodStarz was having the guts to actually do this, for all three of us to have the guts to actually do this. But the hardest decision actually is to keep it going, because as great as an idea as this has been, and thank you, Dallas, for pumping us up. There's a lot that goes on from the day to day that is really difficult, and it gets frustrating. And there are times when you're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, and you want to throw in the towel. But you have to say, you have to see the forest through the trees sort of scenario. You got to know that something big is coming. It's going to happen. You just have to keep grinding.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, you two. I've talked enough. I got a couple more questions, but y'all need to start fire the questions away.
Well, go ahead, Angel.
Me? Oh boy. So I see that you have like actors on your list of like people that to get PodStarz to get podcasts, like to meet with meet and greets. Would you put in more? I mean, would you add in more voice actors if you could? And if you could, who would you try to get? Who do you want to get?
So again, voice actors, super popular. We're starting to knock a few down now. We talk to, sometimes I lose names. I meet a lot of celebrities. The guy who did the first Super Mario voice from the video game, the original Nintendo game, I forget his name, but he was at Comic-Con, and we had talking to him, and he's like, listen, I'd love to be on PodStarz, but they're going to ask me to do the voice, and I don't have the rights to do the voice. They own that right. So he can only do that voice when he's under their umbrella. Otherwise, you can go and get his 8x10 signed as Super Mario and all that stuff. But why would you want to book him for your, like, so how was, just do it once, do Mario or whatever. I don't even know. I think that's the voice. So I mean,
that was accurate. Yeah.
So getting a hold of voice actors is not the easiest either, because you have to really think about, unless they were at a Comic-Con and you see them, you don't know, like, oh, I want the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm going to look that person up. It's not in my wheelhouse. So absolutely, voice actors, super popular, and they have a huge following. And yeah, absolutely, I'd like to get as many as possible.
I'd like to see Alex Lee on there. Voice of Solo Leveling.
Bryce Papenbrook.
Shout out to Debbie.
Is that a show, a video game? What are we talking about, John? I don't even know.
No, Solo Leveling is an anime.
Okay.
It's based
got a
on
popular
manhwa.
following.
Yeah, it's based on a manhwa. And it's very, very popular recently.
Manhwa. That was my favorite Ewok, I think.
Manhwa is like the book version in South Korea. Manhwa is like the
Chinese anime book.
Yeah.
It's like a Chinese comic book. And Alex
Korean,
also,
but yeah. It's
you
Korean.
say where's Korea at?
It's in
Is it-
Asia.
Definitely
that-
Asia. She's got it. It's definitely Asia. I know that for a
Yeah,
fact.
it's Asia.
Yeah.
So
And there's two of them.
and it's and another thing is
Yes.
he just landed the role of Daredevil in Marvel Rivals. So the Marvel Rivals video game, he's also he's voiced so many characters. Voiced one of my favorite characters in anime. But before we get to Kev, I wanted to ask you this question, Jason. As a Canadian, back in 2022, you got a invitation to attend the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yes.
As a Canadian,
Yes.
what did it feel to you to have that, but also know that your baby was part of that vision in that Zoom call?
So we, how did that all go about? I don't remember how we met her. I want to say that we met her on Instagram. Her name is Kat Catatonic. She's actually on the PodStarz website as a celebrity guest. She does a lot of, I wouldn't say little parts, but a lot of guest parts, like a lot of cameos and things of that nature as an actress. And she had said that there was going to be a young future superstars Toronto International Film Festival, and that we could get in on that and set up a table and bring merch and all that stuff and pitch to everyone who was there. It was a fantastic evening. It was gorgeous, really well done, really well put together. We actually met one of our first NFL, used to play with the New England Patriots. We met him at that thing, so we got him on the website immediately. Another female actress, we got her on the website immediately. And it was a great opportunity. The thing about that, though, was it was super professional until it wasn't. So as soon as, I want to say it was like 9 o'clock and the sun had gone down and the bottle started popping, nobody gave a damn about PodStarz. It was all about getting just hammered and dancing and like, it's really hard to talk to somebody when people are like grinding. You know, that's not exactly the easiest conversation to have. So at that point, it was like, all right, shut it down. We'll leave one person at the booth, and the rest of us are going to take turns going on the dance floor and drinking and having a good time and trying to get some entertainment out of this experience. But yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, we were just literally about to launch. We hadn't even officially launched yet at that point, I believe. So to have a great jump off point like that, it really helped.
Excellent. All right.
So the 90s in me will never die. And there was a certain phenomenon in the 90s that took over pretty much the world. It's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
All right.
And I know on PodStarz, we have a couple of famous people from that franchise.
We do.
How hard was it to get Zordon and the Pink Zeo Ranger?
You know what happened with that was they were at a little city called Hamilton, Ontario. They were at Hamilton Comic-Con, and I went up there. That's where I met the Brooklyn Brawler, a few other professional wrestlers. I gotta lie, I watched the first season of Power Rangers back in the day when it launched. I was doing the spin kicks in front of my TV before school. So, I mean, I know exactly what you guys are talking about. When I saw the guy who played the big floating head Zordon, I was like, oh, no way. This is super cool. Awesome guy, man. Such a nice guy. So he talking to him was so easy. And he was interested to come in on PodStarz because he gets asked for podcasts so much. So getting him was actually very easy. Catherine Sutherland, she was in the later years, and I have to admit, I knew she was Pink Ranger because obviously she had a poster behind her, but I was unaware of her as a Power Ranger. But awesome lady. Also, like these Power Rangers get asked for podcasts like you would not believe. I recently met Walter Jones at Fan Expo.
Go!
Nice.
You know, super nice guy. Said he would think about it. You know, I did my best to keep that bridge alive. It burned out. I talked to David Yost. I think David Yost was being just very nice. I don't think he was all that interested, but he was still very nice. That's obviously Pink Ranger was why I was there. One of my first crushes. I'm sure one of everyone's first crushes back in those days. You know, you go to school thinking Pink Ranger. Yeah, that's all me right there.
I feel you, brother.
By the time I got there, she was already gone for the day, and so I'm going to try and get more Power Rangers. I didn't realize that they had such a following. I mean, I didn't know there were so many seasons. First of all, I thought it was pretty much like,
it's endless.
like Jason David Frank was like 4 different colors of Power Ranger. I did not know that either until I did a little.
He was, yes.
Yep.
So let me ask you this question: does my name look familiar to you?
Dallas Cash. I mean, I mean, nothing really stands out.
Then let me ask you. Let me ask you this question: who is this?
Oh, that's my dog, Dallas.
So I got into dogs, and my wife has 2 dogs, and I wanted to ask you, like, as a dog person, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you face when you take your dogs to puppy school?
Well, so I've only had 3 dogs in my life. Unfortunately, I grew up in a cat family. My mom was a hardcore cat person. Cats are great when they're not yours. I will never own a cat in my life. I like petting them. I will play with the mouse or whatever, but like I want to leave them at your house. I'm done with cats. I finally got my first wiener dog, Kimbo Slice, when I was 20 years old. Best thing I ever did was buy that dog. He was my best friend in the world. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Got his sister from the same breeder, Princess Leia. And once Kimbo passed, I had to replace him because my other dog was very, very lonely. She was heartbroken. So we found a rescue place that she comes from Texas. So that's why we named her Dallas. And she's an abused rescue. And she's terrified of men, like terrified of men. So some horrible, horrible individual mistreated this gorgeous puppy, and we took her in. And taking her to puppy school wasn't easy because there was obviously men who were bringing their dogs to train as well. So she was so terrified of the men that her learning curve didn't work. It didn't work. Anyways, long story short, we got her to do a few things, but whatever baggage she has with her prevented her from getting the full puppy school experience. But she's better. We've had her for almost 3 years now, and she's great. When you can take a dog that's been mistreated and unlock that love and that trust, and just you can't buy that. You can't buy that.
Before I get to my colleagues, I got to ask you a question, and I apologize for this question.
Oh, good. Jerry Springer, here we go. I am not the father. It's gonna trigger you. It's gonna trigger you. Good.
It's gonna trigger you.
Build up. Love it. Okay.
If let's just say that there was a certain individual who asked to be on PodStarz.
Yeah.
And let's just say that this individual has a little bit of a history of making terrible decisions.
Okay.
I see his face getting ready because I know what he's about to say.
No.
Would you be open to having Wes McCauley on PodStarz?
Wes McCauley. Why am I
the referee who kept screwing over the Maple Leafs every
Oh
time
gosh, are you talking about the '93 referee with the Doug Gilmour and the LA Kings? That oh my god.
Uh-oh.
I'd say that's research, but that's almost like that's beyond research. Holy cow. I mean, I don't hold any ill will. The Leafs, that's the closest we've ever been. But you know what? We've had a Raptors championship, which no one thought we were ever going to get.
That is true.
The Jays went back to back in '92, '93, and now they're about to get they're about to go head to head with the biggest, meanest dog in the yard with a $990 million payroll or whatever it is. So yes, I would have Wes McCauley on PodStarz. I would have Earl Hebner on PodStarz.
Nice.
So I mean, as long as you're there it is. So that's not even triggering. It's depressing. Now I got to drink. I got to get a shot.
I'm sorry. He likes to do this. He's only doing this because his precious Ravens are 1-5. I'm so sorry.
Listen. As long as we dwell in the past, we'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? But which one would you rather have? Would you rather have another Blue Jays championship, or would you rather have the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup? If it were up to you.
I've seen the Jays. I was alive and well when the Jays won the World Series back to back.
Shout out to Joe Carter. Shout out to Joe Carter.
Shout out Joe Carter.
The homer that changed the world. So I've seen that. I'll tell you right now, if you talk to any Canadian, if the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, it will make the purge look like light business. They will burn to the ground. They will make that riot that was in Vancouver a couple of years ago when they got smoked in the Stanley Cup final. They'll make that look like a day at the park.
Was that 2011? Was that 2011, I think?
Right. It's got to be 2011, 2015, 14, somewhere in that window.
Because the Canucko heads were alive.
Yeah.
And as somebody, and it might surprise you, I do watch hockey a little bit. I do have some hockey history. The thing was with hockey in Canada, that's like the Super Bowl every night. Like, so if the Leafs were to win the Stanley Cup, I'm here in Ohio. I would not leave my house because
this man said he lives in Ohio.
So if the Leafs win the cup, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm packing. I'm done. I'm done. No, I'm packing. I'm gone. I'm getting in my car. It's gonna be the zombie apocalypse, man. Every single person who's had 73 beers watching Game 7 or whatever it is, if the Leafs,
oh my god,
if they throw their gloves up in the air, as soon as that Stanley Cup is in the air, these people are going to take to the streets with garbage bags and rocks and torches. And I'm gone. I'll lock my doors or I'm gone. One of the two.
It's worse than a protest in South America.
Yes, there you go.
Asia, what else you got?
Go ahead.
So I have two questions that kind of intervene.
Cool.
So first of all, how long have you been doing PodStarz? Like from what year to what year?
So the idea came in the first wave. So obviously 2021. We launched just before March of 2023 was our official launch date. So we're about to go on 3 years.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank
And my second question is, if in the future, would you ever want to do like an app for it, for PodStarz to make it like easier for people to find?
100%. We have a lot of ideas in the works. The problem is web developing is super expensive. And every time we go back, it's another $200 an hour for this fix or for this upgrade or whatever. And we have to be able to see a constant stream of revenue. Because right now, what happens is like, I'll use you guys as a perfect example. You've booked a couple of guests through us, right? But you're not consistent, nor should you be. But we don't. This is not like you're going to go grocery shopping every Saturday. You're not going to book a guest every Saturday. So we have our peaks and our valleys. And we've had months where we've had like 40, 50 interviews. And then we've had others where there's 10. So, with money, with marketing, the initial costs of everything that it takes to run this day-to-day business, to spend another $1,500, $2,000 to make an app or a couple of the other changes that we have, it's going to be pricey. And I will say that one of the ideas I have, and I feel like we have a nice trust between us now. We've known each other for 54 minutes. So I'll let you guys in on a little thing. One of the things that I'm going to bring to the table, whether it be in the next 6 months or what have you, is I know a lot of podcasters change their intros quite often. Hey, it's Dallas. You've reached the Humble Roses podcast. They change it all the time. Well, I want you to be able to book a celebrity to do your intro for you. So you don't have to book them for the podcast, but you can book them. Just say, hey, what's going on? It's Tom Arnold. I've been in True Lies, da-da-da. And don't forget, this is the Humble Rose podcast brought to you by Manscaped or whatever. You know what?
Manscaped.
That sounds awesome.
It's just, we have a whole bunch of things that are in the works, but this is not a business that is steady. It's peaks and valleys. And when there's a peak,
the highs and lows.
Yeah. When there's a peak, you can take that budget and you can blow it, or you can hold on to it for when the valleys start. So that's where we're at now.
Okay.
But yes,
that's awesome.
On the table.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, my final question is, in Canada, there's a network called Crave TV, correct?
Yes,
I want to say Crave TV. So all
like
right, streaming service.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So all right, I'll admit this is one of my guilty pleasures. It's on Hulu if anybody hasn't. It's a comedy called Letterkenny.
Okay.
And the lead actor is Jared Kiso, I want to say. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And he has a spinoff called Shorzy. And a lot of the lingo, I've got the Dirty Fucking Dangle Boys and Chill. I love the show. It's a funny show. Please watch. So my question is Don Cherry really that beloved in Canada?
When Don Cherry got relieved of his duties from Hockey Night in Canada, it was a shit show. There was so much anger. Because Don Cherry was basically one of those guys who you could depend on. You could write a book. Everything he said, you knew he was going to say. Like, you knew he was huge on the military. He was like, respect poppies, Remembrance Day, salute the troops, all that stuff. The man was 100% into that. Then there was the other side of him where he would like take shots at the Russian players and the Swedish players for not being so tough, you know, and talking about the good Canadian boys going to the corners and, you know, doing dirty work and da-da-da. And these Russian players, you know, they're all PUSS, you know, you know, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because we were slowly moving away from that. I wouldn't call it racism, but I guess it's kind of like racism.
Yeah.
When he started, when the tide started to turn and he was still doing that, I think that people were starting to already trying to cancel him. And then I forget what the actual what actually got him axed, the actual axe, but I do remember the cover of every paper. Don Cherry gone from Hockey Night in Canada. Canada's hero fired. You know, the social media was still pretty big back then, even though I think it was like 10 years ago ish. So yeah, I mean, Don Cherry was that guy, and he said things that you wanted to say and you wanted him to say. He was that guy who would say it, you know. So, but super knowledgeable about hockey, didn't pull any punches, but at the same time didn't realize that he was kind of acting outdated and didn't want to change his approach at all. And let's all face it, no matter how you think, the world changes and you have to roll with those punches. And if you're going to stay in the dinosaur age, unfortunately, they're going to move on without you. And that's exactly what Hockey Night in Canada did.
I apologize. We're going to wrap up, but I got a few more questions. I apologize for this next question because you're going to be like,
it's just you, eh? These guys are asking friendly questions and talking, and you're like, "I'm sorry, man, but yeah, I got to hit you with this." All right, what do you got, man?
Yeah, that's
like to bring up old stuff. I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry.
He likes to do like really nice intros for people, but then he really goes into the questions.
I see how it is. You guys are like good cop, bad cops. I see who the good cops are.
I'm just trying to like get a little. It's going to be all over the place. But the good thing about it is that you never know what question you're going to get. So I wanted to ask you, when we're talking about food, do you still recommend authentic Greek food like the Noble Olive?
Where in the hell did you find that? Oh my God.
You was just in this man's business, man.
Yeah, he does his research.
When my partners see that logo on this podcast, especially Derek, he's going to lose his... all right, cool. All right. Noble Olive. All right. The Noble Olive was a friend of mine's bright idea to launch just before we launched PodStarz. But he was going to do all the cooking himself. He was going to rent out a room in like a Legion or like a banquet hall or something like that, and you had to come pick up the food. So you would call him or order online or whatever the case was. He would cook it, and you had to come pick it up in this banquet hall wherever it was. And it was authentic Greek food, but it wasn't the typical Greek food. So he didn't want to do souvlaki on a pita or some people call them gyros, some people call them gyros. He didn't want that either. He wanted like the underground Greek food where like people would be like, I couldn't even pronounce most of it. So when he launched this, most of us were like, yeah, man, we got your back, man. Like, good luck. I don't think it was around long. It wasn't around too long. it's now the out of business olive.
Ouch.
Damn.
Wow. Here's another question.
Follow up.
Let's take it back to Peterborough. And I want to know, like, I'm not obviously going to say her name,
Okay.
but somebody had a nice little rugby game in Peterborough. I think it was one of your kids.
Okay.
Tell me about the feeling that that person felt playing in a rugby game, knowing that you were watching and you took pictures of it. So this was right around the time that it was the same time as the rugby game. One of your kids turned 23.
Yeah.
And in Peterborough, your other kid had a breakout rugby game. Is rugby still a thing out there, or tell me how that makes you feel?
So rugby out here is really popular in high school. Once you get out of high school, that's as far as you can go with rugby here. I mean, there are a few people who get to go to the States and play, but it's very few and far between. Same thing with the NFL. There's a lot of good Canadian NFL players, Canadian football players here, but they don't get the NFL shot. It's few and far between. So they'll go to the CFL and they'll hopefully make a name for themselves and get recognized. Other than that. As far as my daughter's concerned, yeah, she was huge into rugby for almost 4 years. I watched her get in her first official fist fight on the field, right in front of me. Best thing I ever saw. My father-in-law, who brought this like $9 trillion camera and was taking these awesome pictures, but while my daughter's throwing down for the first time in her life, didn't take any pictures, didn't even know this was going on. He was having a discussion.
Bro.
I was like, you literally had this opportunity to watch your daughter throw down, and no pictures were taken. So, but she was hardcore. Two very different daughters. My oldest daughter, 26 years old, is now a flight attendant. My youngest daughter, who's about to turn 19, has joined the Navy. So she's been gone for a year and just signed up for 4 more years. So this was the rugby player.
Yeah.
So watching my daughter play rugby, terrifying because damage could be done at any given point. And my daughter was the person who loved to be in the action, would actually leave her position to go and make a hit. When the coach would say, listen, I'm glad you're hitting. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad you're not scared, but you're leaving your position. So when the other team gets the ball, she's not there. So they just walk in. It's just touchdown or whatever they call it, a try. So, but she was all about the physical action. So I always knew she was going to do something off the charts as far as a profession. No idea it was going to be the armed forces. Had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, I apologize, man. My research it's up there, and a lot of people who call me Nardwar,
FBI.
Yeah, all in people's pockets, man.
Stop it.
Sicko.
I gotta ask you another fun sports question.
So,
are you still part of the crew?
The crew. Oh God, I will never not be part of the crew. Oh, please. I am diehard Bucks fans till the day I die. The first NFL game I ever watched was the Buffalo Bills, because out here, that's the only channel you can get. The NFL games that are shown is Buffalo. I saw the orange creamsicle Tampa Bay Buccaneers when I was like 13 years old, and I saw Mike Allstott and what he did with that ball to the opposing team. I said, these jerseys are incredible. They're super ugly, but I love them. And then I saw this man run through people like a hungry man trying to get into a buffet. And I fell in love with him and the Buccaneers. And yeah, man, I am crew till we die. We're 5-2 right now. We got our asses handed to us by the Lions the other night. Thankfully, I didn't get to see Mike Evans break his collarbone because I was watching the Jays make it to the World Series. So I'm putting back and forth. Tough call. Blue Jays or Bucks. I'm the only Bucks fan in the house, so the Bucks lost. It is what it is. But yeah, no, I got my Buccaneers specially made COVID mask back in the day when we were.
Oh, that's fire!
Whoa,
that's so nice.
So yeah,
we're taking it back.
I was rocking that bad boy. I mean, I own so much Bucks merchandise, and the thing about the Bucks merchandise is it's not really sold in Canada. You have to go on NFL.com. So not only am I getting it shipped in, I'm also getting hit with the U.S. tariffs.
Sorry.
So everything is even more expensive than it should be, which, oh, man, it is what it is. But yeah, my house is straight Bucks. And yeah, man, You're Ravens for life. My wife, we were just in Vegas. She put down $20 on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. It only paid like $250 because at that point they were super heavy favorites. This is just before the season kicked off. I put 50 down on the Bucks, which pays $2,700. So at 5-2, I'm liking my
chances are looking pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking really good. We're looking really good.
Yeah, so
chances are looking pretty good.
We're gonna have home field, so we'll see.
Well, I will say that this has been an excellent interview, and I have had a great time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Cowal from PodStarz. Make sure that you go to podstarz.net. You sign up and you get an account and you use all the services that they have. Make sure that you utilize any of the guests that they have for your show, because we're going to start. I'm not going to speak on who we want to get because you just added her, but a certain somebody is extremely excited. So we're going to reach out to Melina on her. Yes,
best entrance ever, right? Can we agree on best entrance ever? No one's ever
I love her entrance.
Yeah,
that would be nice if she did a. Anyway, I'm not going to get into
that.
You're paying extra for that. That's not on PodStarz.
That's not on PodStarz. Like
not on PodStarz.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow the PodStarz team Twitter page. They have IG. Make sure you follow Jay Cowal on Facebook. All of the, and I'd say a PodStarz YouTube channel, is that going to be on the way, or do you already have that as well?
We have one. It's called the PodStarz Team Podcast YouTube. But I'm not good at updating it, but I am very active on social media. And the thing about PodStarz is it's all me. So if you reach out to us on any social media thing, I'm the one who responds to you. So even if you just want to chop it up and talk podcasting and stuff like that, I'm available. We don't do AI. We don't do robots. We don't do anything like that. If you have a question, you want to talk about anything, I'm the one you're talking to. So I look forward to talking to you. And PodStarz is here. So feel free to use us and feel free to come and talk to me. And I'd love to chop it up with pretty much anyone out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that from the CEO himself. Make sure you use podstarz.net. It is a wonderful service, and it has incredible access to your favorite celebrities that are still out there of the past, present, and future. There's like so many different genres you can pull from. And also, ladies, and there's more coming. Ladies and gentlemen, also, if you liked what you saw and this is your first time, welcome to the Humble Roses podcast. Make sure you use our QR code to subscribe and follow us on the YouTube. We need subscribers badly, so we will always take them. Shout out to Rikarsha, Marks with Mikes, everybody who came through. Wanted to just basically say this was a great time. We had a great interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. I got to figure out what I'm doing Friday for the horror movie trivia. The Jeopardy thing wasn't working, so we'll just do it a different way. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Humble Roses podcast. Me, Dallas Cash, Angel Rose, Kev the Postman, and the CEO of PodStarz.